up, y'all? Welcome to Girlopeutic. It's your home of therapeutic girl talk.
What we got today?
And today we are talking about, we're going to base a conversation off of the show Ladies Who List. It comes on Fridays on OWN at 9, right? At 9 p.m. But it's a really good show. It's about real estate. You have women that are in positions like, you know, across the real estate board essentially, as far as closing attorneys, they're luxury agents, they have their own brokerages, is that the word? But yeah, so there's two people that we kind of want to focus on in a sense. Their situation is what we're focusing on, and that's Robin and Crystal. Now you're gonna have to watch the show to really understand what we're saying or what we're talking about, but based off of their relationship, okay, I have two questions that I want to ask. I guess, should I give a backstory real quick?
Yeah.
All right, here's a brief synopsis. Robin and Crystal are friends. Robin is a closing attorney. No, Crystal is a closing attorney. Robin owns her own brokerage.
Best friends.
They're best friends. What is it? Robin has had a very challenging, a very challenging upbringing. She doesn't have close relationship with a lot of with any, I guess, females in her life. Like, she was on her own at 16. She was a mom at 16 as well. You have on the opposite side Crystal, who has come from kind of a strong family dynamic, as she says, two-parent household. You know, she prides herself on being this hard-working person, XYZ. Now, the thing is, with Robin, she has confided or told some things to Crystal just about her, you know, her life, I guess, essentially, and her issues with women, right? And how she doesn't trust them because of her past experiences in her personal life. So they get into a conversation. Robin wants to open this mega firm, basically, with, you know, these other women that's on the show. And Crystal's initial response is, well, I think it's a good idea, but you don't play well in the sandbox with other women. And so Robin took offense to that. Okay. She did not like that. She felt like somebody was using, you know, what she had told them against her, and kind of shooting down her dreams in a sense. Okay. So here's the two questions that I have. Did I cover all the space though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Here's the two questions that I have. Question number one is, do you think that you should have some sort of friendship? I have my Invisalign in, so I got a little lisp. Friendship with someone who you're wanting to go into business with. Okay? Because Robin's argument was, you don't have to be friends to do business. So I might not get along with women personally, but I'm able to cohabitate with women professionally. And again, that was Crystal's concern. So do you have to have some level of friendship to be in business? My second question is, what do you think about someone trying to use information that you have given them, especially a friend, against you? Or not against you, but how about somebody bringing it up to you, like in the heat of an argument or when you're trying to bring forth an idea? That was a long intro, but you know, y'all get the point. Y'all needed it.
Yeah, y'all needed that. Well, the first question, say it again.
Do you think that you have to have some level of friendship?
Yes.
To be in a business together?
Well, no, and that just kind of made me think about the other video that we did about Jenny Mai and The Real in them, and I think in that video we talked about actually establishing a friendship, like with your coworkers or somebody that you're working with, through different things like hanging out outside of work or whatever the case may be. So I feel like initially when you go into business with someone, it's not always a friend type of relationship or a friend dynamic. You can create that, but I don't think it's necessary. no to have a friendship with somebody that you're in business with or is a coworker, simply because that may not be the nature of your relationship. I don't know. I don't think it's a requirement.
Yeah. I don't think it's a requirement, but I think there should be a level of respect that you have for that person. And you should be able to get along with them to an extent. So we don't have to, especially if you're going to be with them every single day, we don't necessarily have to hang out and things like that. But I'm going to respect you enough to be able to function with you at work. But I don't think that they actually need to be friends or build like this really strong bond in relationship before we're able to start. I think it's just, because that could come later. Like, as long as we respect each other, we know this is the goal that we have as to why we're coming into business together. As long as you have that respect and we're able to function together, then I think that that's good enough starting out. And it may build into something, but even if it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think Crystal was wrong for asking that question?
In that moment.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think she was wrong, because I think whenever you're excited about something, just let me be excited for a minute. And if you think it's a really good idea, then tell me that. And then another conversation we could have, because you're going to see her again.
Exactly.
Like, okay, now let's talk about what we talked about the other day. Now, you have to keep in mind, this is something that you shared with me. Do you think that's something you're going to be able to handle going into this? But I feel like in that moment, she just didn't need to ask it. It's okay if it comes up later, but let me enjoy this moment about this really, this idea that I have that I'm excited about. And then we'll have another conversation and you can ask that question.
Yeah. I think the way Robin reacted to, not necessarily, she did turn up a little bit, but I probably would have reacted the same way, in the sense of, what does that have to do with anything? I'm sharing with you this exciting idea that I have, and you ask me if I play well with the sandbox. I'm not talking about the sandbox, I'm talking about my idea at the moment, and that probably would have irritated me.
So it's not that the question was wrong. It's more so that the timing
was wrong.
Okay. Yeah, because I think it brings up the conversation of just how honest should you be or can you be with a friend, and maybe knowing those friends who can help handle a level of honesty. Yeah. And then too, I guess when to do that, because you can't handle every friend the same. Yeah. You may have a friend where you can be like, okay, girl, love that idea, but you don't really get along with other women. So how do you plan on doing that? And then you have those friends where you have to kind of pace it, like you said. Okay, let me give her a dose of that. I'm very excited for it, and then maybe we'll do the reality of it later.
Right. And if that's your best friend, you should know.
But the question I also have is, and we don't know Robin, but would you have at any point been receptive of it, because you've taken it as, wait, hold on, I've shared that information with you.
See, and my thought process with that is, if I shared something personal like that with you guys, you can present the same concept to me and not use the exact words that I used. Okay. So it doesn't feel like, oh, I shared this with you and that's what I said, and now you're throwing it back in my face. Exactly. Because if I said I don't play well in the sandbox with other people, you can switch that up and be like, okay, well, do you think you're going to get along well with these different women in your life, these different dynamics that they're going to bring? Like, say it in a different way. Right. Yeah, do you have any? Yeah. Just reframe it so that I receive it, because I may not even think in that moment you're bringing that back to my face. Exactly. And you won't be as offended with it. I just think she needed to reframe it and say it differently, because Robin probably would have received it differently if she didn't feel like you're poking me with something that I gave to you in confidence.
Especially if she's not, and we don't know this, but the way that the scene was set, I'm assuming that Robin only told Crystal this information. She's never witnessed Robin actually not being able to play well with women in any other setting. Which that was actually Robin's point too. Yeah, you only know that because I told you. Yes, right. Exactly. Yeah. And that, I just don't think that, like, if you tell someone, like, if you're confiding in them, then to have it turned around and used against you, and you never seen me act or say anything like that, yeah, that's going to irritate me, because, not only did I tell you this in confidence and you're throwing it back in my face, but do you really feel like that? Because, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've not seen me act like this in any other way. You're only going by what I told you. Yeah. So, to me, when Robin said that, it's like, well, it's more so, I don't mesh well with other women, not necessarily I can't. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I think that what I've learned about myself in recent years is I don't have to have a deep friendship with the people that I work with. It's not necessary as far as boundaries crossing, as far as like, we're texting or we're hanging out or things of that nature. I don't need that. But I have learned that a certain sense of camaraderie is important to me in all spaces.
Absolutely.
And I can see the need for the concern, I guess, like the need for the question,
right?
But I agree ultimately that maybe it was the time thing and just knowing your friend and when to bring it up. But yeah, that is something that I value because I'm gonna need there to be some type of like some level of relationship, and you can't avoid conflict, and I think that comes into play as well. If we're doing business together, there may be a time where we don't agree on all things. Now, how are you going to handle that?
Right.
Being that you don't play well in this environment, like, you know what I'm saying, or you have certain triggers when it comes to women.
Is it easier to handle conflict with someone that you don't necessarily have a relationship with because of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easier for you to say certain things or make certain decisions, especially in business, because you don't have that friendly relationship where because sometimes we can filter or change how we approach certain stuff because someone is our friend when it comes to conflict. So I don't know, do we feel like when addressing conflict it's easier than it is with a friend?
I had some conflict with some people that I worked with, and for me, I wouldn't say it was easier because I didn't really see them as somebody who I cared about. I just didn't care how you felt. After I said what I needed to say and got my point across, it's not that I'm not going to listen to your side of things, but if we don't talk to each other at work at all, but we get what we need to get done, I could care less. Yeah. So I think it's probably, for me personally, I would put more value into making sure I reconcile something the right way with my friends than people who's like, I don't even like you anyway, so I could care less.
I think there's a level of investment there, and so there's going to be a level of fragility, I guess, in how you approach the situation, like how you approach that person. And that's too why I think it may, in a business, if we're all doing this as a collaborative effort, especially if we're trying to create this mega firm, we need to have some sort of relationship. And I think that even though it may not get personal, it needs to be where we just, of course, respect each other. But I don't know, I feel like maybe a little deeper than that in this sense.
For what they're trying
to do, because you're really going to need each other.
But I feel like even with that those things can come. Like, I don't necessarily know if it needs to be that
off the bat. Exactly.
But okay, here's another question: if you already don't really get along with somebody, should you be doing business with them?
No, she probably don't need to do business with
Kiana or Kira.
She probably doesn't need to do business with her.
They both petty together.
But you don't even trust Kiana. Especially, so like, how do you do business with people you don't trust?
No, I don't think you can do business with people you don't trust.
Not like that.
There's too much money.
And also, that just
that's a good point.
Brought something to me about Robin specifically. I don't know who the guy is. I don't know if it was her business partner.
He's a developer.
Yes, but they got into it, and his whole thing was Robin's attitude, and her thing was, well, we're friends, we've been working together for X amount of time, there's this loyalty here that she felt entitled to, and I think he sold his house or a house or something that she was supposed to actually get the credit for.
Well, so he's a developer. He built these homes, or like a home that was over $1 million, and they got into an argument, and he gave the listing to another agent when she was supposed to be the selling agent for it. She had taken all these pictures and all these other things, and he gave it to another agent because of them arguing, get into a fight. Once they reconciled, she's like, well, I want my listing back, and he's like, girl, basically it already sold, and it was a cash offer. So,
and that's a situation where they were quote unquote they had a friendly relationship, but they let that get in the middle of an actual business sale because they were mad at each other. She didn't get the credit for the home, so it's like
she didn't get the money.
She didn't get the money, yeah. So it's like, I don't know, but if they weren't friends, would it have escalated that far? Possibly. I mean, an argument's an argument, but I think it definitely changes the dynamic and how the situation was handled.
Yeah,
for sure. And I mean, it kind of, unfortunately, to Crystal's point, I don't know if it's women specifically. It sounds like Robin just
it's just
people. Yeah, like, and that's just, it is what it is. So her saying that seems valid. It's just going back to like what you said, timing and how you said, and sometimes we have to ask ourselves, like, is it really necessary to say this in this moment, even though we want the best for our friend? Maybe I should just not say that right now. So I still feel the same though, as far as like their relationship, because there's more into, if you guys watch
you gotta watch it.
You gotta watch it. Their friendship is interesting. I wouldn't call it a friendship,
right?
But yeah.
It's strange.
It's very strange.
It's not giving best friend mention at all.
I feel like, and that's why I think that may be part of the reason why Robin received what she said the way she did, because Crystal, the way she comes off is like, I need to counsel you, Robin, and I don't like that. Like sometimes you just would, not saying that friends can't have good advice and kind of play that role at times,
exactly,
but it seems like every time they're together, Robin is getting counseled, or like Crystal feels like she needs to help Robin with something. So it doesn't really look like a friendship to me. It looks like
she never asked for.
Yeah, like, are you trying to be her mentor? What are you trying to do?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't like that either. Like people who always just, I have to help them, or like they need help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fine, and you, for whatever reason, feel like you have to do that, and that's what Crystal reminds me of.
Because you're getting counseling, not that Robin's not, but it's like you're using those techniques that are used on you on me.
And really, her when she be going to therapy, Miss Crystal, when she goes to therapy, she just be going to hear herself talk, because they also showed a clip on there of Crystal and her therapist, and Crystal was explaining the situation between Robin and her. And it was a completely different situation than what actually happened.
Can I say that I think that is kind of the dichotomy with therapy?
Yeah.
Because you're talking to a person who doesn't know the situation, and you have here's the thing. The person who is seeking the therapy, right? You have to be able to go in there with a sense of honesty and vulnerability, right? Because I can tell my therapist anything to portray however I want to portray myself in the situation. And the fact of the matter is, in conflict, whoever's telling the story, they're never going to be the villain.
Nope.
Hello.
Right.
So if I'm telling this to my therapist, I'm going to make myself look good. And so my therapist is building off of that. So to your point, Crystal was not really being honest or really sharing like her point, or like not her point, but her part in the situation.
Yes.
And how everything, y'all gotta watch the show again, but how everything kind of went left because of her part.
Exactly. A huge part that she played.
Yeah.
So
You gotta watch it.
yeah,
definitely check it out. I think that's just I think it also speaks to, and we don't have to talk about this, but it also speaks to kind of knowing your part in a friendship and how you show up in a friendship. Because you were saying, B, that it's like the counseling, the constant counseling or whatnot for Crystal. And I think that maybe she enjoys having that part in the friendship, right? Some people enjoy having, I don't want to call it upper hand, but some people enjoy having an upper hand, or feeling like they are needed and really of a higher,
absolutely,
they're above you in a sense of, even if it's just an emotional capacity.
And that's really weird.
But some people are like that, and that happens even in friendships.
Unknowingly too. Which
Mm-hmm.
is, you feel like you're always having to compete, and you don't even realize it until like that friend does something. You're like, what?
because
I didn't even realize that.
That's how you feel.
Yeah.
come in the room, Issa and Molly, listen to with that friendship dynamic. I think that their friendship kind of tainted because Issa's role in the friendship changed. You no longer needed Molly to the same degree.
Yeah,
you were doing your own thing. And once a friendship starts, people come in certain spaces, right?
Right.
And if you aren't able to actually evolve with that friend, you're going to think that they need to stay that person the entire time. And when they don't, it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's like you're not even allowing room for growth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
that person.
So good.
And it almost intimidates you, but that's your friend.
Yes. You should be happy that they're moving in that direction.
But some people are really comfortable with the foundation of that friendship. This is who you are. I'm the lawyer friend. I'm the established. And this is what you are. You are the dysfunctional, the all over the place.
Exactly.
That's our dynamic. And I feel valued when I feel like you need me.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that's kind of
that's not
kind
a
of
friendship. That is not a friendship because you're feeding insecurities through this friendship that you have,
right?
And that's not fair to the other person at all.
Because you want someone to be codependent,
and you almost guilt them into feeling bad
for leveling up and doing their thing. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even think about that with them.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's an aspect. But y'all catch the show. It's really good.
It's real good.
Ladies Who
And
List.
the homes, they be selling homes.
They're $1 million homes. So yeah, it's worth it. It's not just drama. It's listing as well.
And it's good to see our women, like black women doing their thing. You know.
Okay, first.
So yeah,
it's really good.
Well, drop down in the comments below. Tell us what you think about this video. Do you watch the show? What do you think about the friendships and friendship dynamics and people using, what you told them against you? Has that happened to you before? Do you think that you need to be friends in order to be in business or to have some level of friendship? Don't forget to what?
Like, comment, and what? Subscribe.
And share it.
And share.
Follow us on Instagram, and we will see y'all in the next video.
Bye.